Fit 10 family, welcome to day 61. We have got, officially speaking, 10 days to go. We head into the single digits starting tomorrow, which is kind of crazy, right? Heading towards that final week, that final 10%. We got about 15% to go right now. More of your questions, so let's get into it. I'm basically right up to answering all of the questions. So if I have missed anything from the past, maybe you submitted some questions and I didn't get them, maybe I missed them, let me know, resubmit them, or even send me a message through Slack, okay? Somebody wants to know the start of the next challenge. The next challenge is going to start September 24th. So it's a little ways away, but if you are interested, it's starting September 24th. All right, how to increase flexibility. Oh, actually, before I say that, just another reminder that July 6th, so that's 2 weeks today, is it? Yeah, it's 2 weeks today. We're gonna have the finale in the evening. Okay, Fit and 10 finale in the evening at the studio. So please make sure you book that evening off and come on out for the finale. Okay, how to increase flexibility. Okay, so I get this a lot from people. Generally, when I ask them their goals, and this is typically when I'm working with clients one-on-one, they'll say to me, I want to work on my flexibility. But like when I look at their flexibility, generally it's not an issue. Okay, there might be some particular area on their body where, maybe it's the shoulder where, we want to improve the flexibility or mobility of that shoulder. But generally speaking, this is not really an issue. So I think that sometimes people get confused with this. And they get confused with flexibility when really what they mean is their posture. Or they mean the mobility of the joint. Or, more importantly, the strength of certain aspects of the body. Okay, now these are areas that really need adjusting for. Flexibility is usually not an area unless you're, a martial artist maybe, or you're trying to prepare for, Cirque du Soleil, something like that. But if for general life, I don't really see this. Like I don't see a need to increase flexibility. Remember, with flexibility, you want a happy medium. You don't want to be too flexible and you don't want to be too tight. You want a happy medium. The more flexible we make a joint, all right, or if we take that flexibility past a certain point of happy medium, then we become much more prone to dislocating it, become much more prone to injuring that joint. So we want a happy medium here. And like I said, generally speaking, when I look at people, they are in that sort of happy medium range with flexibility, generally speaking. All right, so if there is a particular area of your body that you feel is tight or you feel lacks flexibility, all right, maybe we can address that. But generally speaking, I don't see this. And so you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think probably what you mean more is posture, mobility, and strength of a joint or set of joints. All right, so, in terms of flexibility, I would have to go through that probably with you in person, okay, in terms of things to do. But if you want to work on flexibility, this is something that you have to work on daily. So it's not about, again, it's just like everything else, it's consistency. It's about putting in a little bit every day. Comment from a person: shoulders appear more broad. Is it perception since the waist is slimmer? That would be part of it. The other part of it probably is better posture. So doing a lot of these areas that target the posterior of our body, especially the upper posterior, our back, our shoulders, we tend to see the shoulders pull back. I see this in a lot of before and afters. I will literally see people in their before and their shoulders are slumped forward, and then on their after photo, it's the shoulders are back. And even see this with the kyphosis of the back, rounding of the upper back, which I see with a lot of people. We see this improve as well. So it's probably a bit of your waistline, it's probably a bit of your posture, it's also probably a bit of development through the lats, the muscles here, and through your shoulders. So maybe you've added just a little bit of lean tissue through your shoulders, you've added a little bit of lean tissue through your lats, your waist has come in, and all of a sudden, it creates this noticeable or maybe very noticeable difference. All right, 5 minutes in here. Can higher diastolic pressure cause dizziness in boot camp? Higher diastolic blood pressure can cause dizziness in general. So, yeah, I mean, definitely if you're only going to increase your blood pressure when you're exercising. This is just what happens when you exercise. Weight training or not, you're going to increase your blood pressure. This is just normal. So certainly, yeah, you could notice this in boot camp if you already have an elevated diastolic blood pressure. I have not been told to limit my exercise by my doctor. Okay, yeah, it shouldn't be because, again, this is something that, just like salt, is something that's good for you and has many, many benefits, including reducing your overall blood pressure, right? So momentarily you might see an increase in it. That's just what everybody goes through. But in the long term, we're going to see that diastolic blood pressure get reduced through exercise, right? And through some of these other things that I mentioned, like sodium, which people always look at me confused when I say that. But that's a separate topic. Okay, let's get to the message of the day. On this day 61, it is not true that people stop pursuing their dreams because they grow old. Rather, they grow old because they stop pursuing their dreams. And this can kind of branch out into other things. I see this with clients, especially younger clients who are married to older people, not all the time, but who are married to older people, especially much older, tend to see them complain about their age. And I want to remind you just on this, just while I bring this up here, if you're in your, okay, certainly if you're in your 30s or 40s, but if you're in your 50s or your 60s, you're not old, right? Old is when we get very close to the end of our life. Okay, when you're in your 40s and your 50s and your 60s, hopefully you're not close to the end of your life, at least not naturally. Well, hopefully you're not close to the end of your life, period. But at least from natural causes too, hopefully we're not near the end. You shouldn't be. I mean, this shouldn't be a normal thing. But this is more in regards to mindset. But actually, both these things are mindset. So I want to remind you that, time is precious, and we don't have a lot of time. You generally have more that you can give than you think you do based off of your age. I hear this all the time from people. I'm too old to do this. I feel pain because I'm old, or blah, 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 or whatever. I know I'm going off on different tangents here, but that's another thing that reminds me, it's not time or aging. Yeah, it has some influence, but it doesn't have that much influence, okay? It doesn't have that much influence on metabolism, does not have that much influence on, overall muscle mass. When I'm talking about when we're in our 40s and our 50s and our 60s, okay? What happens is it's the way we treat our bodies through time. It's the way we treat our bodies through time. If I sit in my chair all day, okay, day after day, generally speaking, and then I get up, I go, after years of doing this, my back hurts, God, I'm getting old. No, this is as a result of you sitting in your chair. All right, so we need to work on keeping ourselves in condition. Okay, mentally, spiritually, and of course physically. All right, so I want to remind you that you need to start to put your age aside. All right, you can start thinking about this when you're 85. All right, but for now, you're not old. So right now, what you're going to think about is, like a car, that goes over a speed bump and all of a sudden, it bottoms out and you say, it's the speed bump's fault, or it's the car that's getting old. It's just a matter of doing the necessary maintenance for our mind and our body and our soul. And remind ourselves that there's a lot more that we're capable of, and there's a lot more that we can do to keep ourselves in that fresh state. I'm not going to say young state. I'm going to say fresh state, okay? Anyways, this message of the day sort of went off on a tangent, but I'll read it again. It is not true that people stop pursuing their dreams because they grow old. Rather, they grow old because they stop pursuing their dreams. Keep putting in the effort and quit telling yourself that you're old, because you're not. Nobody in this challenge is old. And know that you got a lot more in you. It's just about doing the right maintenance, okay? Positive energy, positive vibes, believe in yourself, for the love of God. Give some gratitude, and I'll talk to y'all soon.